Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to work with multiple GitHub accounts. If you remember a few days back when I was working on my playlist project 0, I was working on adding chain dependencies, and when I tried to push my code to GitHub, I was not able to. And the reason was I was already using one key, which is like github.com. So I was already using an RSA SSH key for logging into my company account, and then it was not possible for me to push to my own personal accounts. Now it seems this problem is easier to handle in Mac machines and in Linux. I was talking to some friends, and it seems for them it's not much of a problem, but for Windows machine this is a little bit trickier. And I have encountered this problem also in the past, but I think what I do is I just like try to fix the problem and then I forget how to do it. So this time I thought maybe I'll make a tutorial which will help me remember, like when I encounter the same problem again in the future, but maybe it can also help you guys if you're also struggling with the same problem on a Windows machine. In fact, first I wanted to do this like a step-by-step video, so I thought maybe I'll make a long video, but then I realized that there's no way I will be able to make this video without exposing probably some of the secrets of my company, and I did not want to do that. So what I'm going to do now is, instead of showing like a step-by-step procedure, I will walk through a tutorial which I also followed to solve this problem. And whenever I made a mistake, I will show you like what mistake I made so that you don't repeat the same mistake, right? And in the next video, so basically in this video, like in this tutorial, the lessons that I've learned that will make it possible for you to push code on your local machine, on your personal projects, and also on your company projects side by side. But it's more of a manual process. So in the next video, I will show you how to load the tokens automatically so that you don't have to manually repeat the same process again and again. And then in the next videos, I will also show you how to have correct emails for each account type. For example, you might sometimes see that when you're trying to commit your code on your company account, you might see, hey, it's my personal email, and vice versa. So without any further delays, let's go to the article which I followed to solve the problem. It was written by Bivil M. Jacob, so all kudos to him for creating this. It seems he also was having this, encountering the same problem again and again, and this time he also decided to document the process. And in fact, there's also another great articles from GitHub Documents itself, which explains like what SSH keys are, how you can use them to supply username passwords without having to provide them in every visit, how to check for existing keys, how to create new keys, how to add them to like your secure tokens, how to test connections, and how to automate the process. But for now, let's go through the article which we will have created. So for example, the first thing that you have to do is you have to check for the keys. And this is number one mistake. As a Windows user, I try to run this command on PowerShell and it does not work there. So do remember not to run this command on PowerShell, but to run it on a bash. I don't want to run it on bash, or maybe I can, because then it only tells the name of the keys that I have and nothing else. So for example, it tells me that I do have some of the keys. For example, like IDRSA, something for another company, something for Twitter. That's it. What else? The next thing that you do is you have to generate the keys, and to generate the keys, this article says for generating default keys that you want to use for your personal account, you can just run this command. I would suggest, rather than running this command, run this command, like exclude the file name, but give your personal email. Like then then you have your personal email also attached to this particular RSA key. So with this key, also give this option. And for running this command, you can run it on bash, and it will generate new keys for you. So for example, if I want to show it, I don't really mind running this again. So if I run this command, paste, it will look something like this. Pramod Yadav. gmail.com, enter file name. So just press enter to don't give any other file name, and then you can overwrite. Yes, I want to overwrite it. Then you can give a password. Okay, and then it generates a key. Nothing to worry. I am going to delete this key, before I publish this video into into YouTube. So don't worry, I'm not going to expose any secrets here. So once I create this key, let's go back. Then you can generate another key for your work user. And this is where I was making another mistake. In fact, I was making two mistakes. When I try to run this command, let's say on my git bash, it will not work. So for example, you can generate the default RSA key from here. As you can see, it was allowed. But if you want to run this to generate another key, maybe for ID RSA Twitter app, right? So maybe you're working for Twitter, and maybe your email is Pramod Yadav, and yeah, maybe at twitter.com. So another mistake which I did was when you try to run it from git bash, now it will not allow you. So for example, if I give some password, oh, in this case it allowed me, because last time when I tried, it did not allow me. So now you are able to create a key. I think so. Eventually, I'm able to create all the keys. In case if you have problems creating the key from Git Bash, go to PowerShell, create the keys there, go to everything, look for where the key was generated, then cut paste and put it back in the SSH key. Right? What else? Let's go back to the article. So now you have got all the keys created. You got keys created for your personal account. You got key created for your account, for your work account, different work accounts, and then you have to add the keys to the corresponding Git account. And the way you can do it is you can either like run this command. For me, it did not work. So if I go here, when I try to paste it, it says command not found. So actually what I did was I just went to the .ssh repository, went to the public key, add it. It will give me a key like this. Of course, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to delete it, but you can copy the whole thing, Control C. You can go to your company account. So for example, let's say I will open my private account, but imagine if this was your company account. You can go to your company account, and you don't have to go to repositories. You have to go to your profile settings. So not like repository settings, but go to your profile settings, click on SSH and GPG keys, delete the key, create a new key, and you can just say SSH key Facebook, right? Copy the whole key. By the way, if you try to give anything else, so if you accidentally copy your private key, and it will not allow you. So you really have to give your public key, which starts with SSH RSA. Then you can say SSH RSA key, for example, Facebook, right? And then you would be able to add this key to your company's user account. So maybe your company user account is Pramod Kumar Yadav for Facebook. You can just go here, click on this, go to settings, add this key. That's how you can add a key, right? Let's go back to the article. So you can repeat the process both for your personal account and for your company account. And once you are done, then you have to register the key. Here it gives you command. It says you can run the eval command. So you can go here. You can go to git bash. You can run this command, paste. With this, it will run the SSH agent. And if you go back, now you can add the keys, like whatever keys you want to add. You can copy this, go back. You can first see if there are any keys loaded. So you can say ssh add list. Agent has no entities. Now let's paste the key. It will ask you to give password, right? So now it loaded my SSH key. You can do the same now for, let's say, adding for Facebook. Give the password again, and now you have both the keys loaded, right? And if you look for keys, it says now you got two keys loaded. One is for your personal account, other is for your Facebook account, right? What else? With this, it says now you also need an SSH config file, because you need to know when you're working with different repositories which SSH file to be used for which account. So what you can do is you can go to SSH, you can go here and you can create a config file. Remember, like I made a mistake, because I went from Notepad, I tried to give it like config.txt. Remove the .txt extension, only have config as an extension, and then you have to copy paste this information. So you will give, for example, this for your personal account, right? ID RSA, and this is the public key also that you have to copy to your personal account in settings. And for this one, like another mistake which I was doing was I was giving work user 1 as my GitHub account. So let's say if my GitHub account was Pramod Kumar Yadav dash Twitter, I was giving that here, but that is not what you have to provide. What you have to provide here is the GitHub username. So for example, for Twitter, the GitHub username is Twitter. This is the repository name. If we look for something else, maybe for Apache, so for Apache the username is Apache, the repository is Kafka, right? So I hope that is clear. You have to give your github.com dash for example Twitter, and not promote the other dash Twitter, right? And this is then the key ID RSA Twitter. Once you put this config file in .ssh repository here, what else? Now with this, you will be able to push code to both your company account and to your personal account. But this is not enough, in the sense, if I go to these two URLs, for example, from Twitter. So this is, if I try to do a git push, you will see I am able to do a git push, right? And if I now go to my personal account, if I try to do a git push, I am able to do a git push, right? So I'm able to work in parallel. But the problem is, like at this moment, if I close this terminal, both the IDs will be removed from the terminal, and it will not work again. And this is something which we will cover in the next video on how to automatically load tokens, so that you don't have to do it manually every time. But another thing is, so then this guy is showing another approach where he says, like another approach is you can either have one token in SSH. That's another way of working it, but it's a manual process. We're not going to use it. If you're interested, you can go to the article. I'll put in the description. And what he also mentions is about setting up config, but this is a topic for next video, so don't worry about this. And then he's saying when you're trying to clone the repositories, for your personal account, you can just do it like git clone. You can give, for example, my name, Pramod Kumar Yadav, repository name 0. But when you're trying to copy your company repository, you have to give it like github.com/Twitter like Twitter and whatever repository name is. Like in this case, it would be Twitter serial. What else? I think with this one, and it says if the repository is already existing, then you have to run this command. If it is a new one, you can run this command, and then it says that's it. Like all credit goes to this guy, who made this we made this nice tutorial. I only demonstrated and showed some of the pitfalls that you can avoid that I encountered. And in the next video, I will show you how you can load the tokens automatically so that you don't have to do it again. Because at this moment, for example, if I close these two git bash windows, and if I try to open it again, and if I check for the keys, it will say there are no keys available, right? So this is something that we will solve in another video on how to automatically load keys for your project so that you don't have to do it manually. So that's it. I hope you learned something new in this video, and I look forward to see you guys in another video. See you. Cheers. Bye.